This is rocking the nation, okay? Every grandmother, woke teen, anarchist, and plague doctor is talking about this. And I don't even know why I get so peeved about this stuff. I mean, this crap lacerates my Facebook feed every time I get on there. And the only thing that ticks me off more than the virality of this bogus excuse of a math concept is those tiny little yellow Twinkies with the goggles on that serve as a coping mechanism for rich moms whose kid just made a B in algebra because they can't understand PEMDAS because there are 8 different definitions of it, okay? So people get belligerent with each other because they were all taught slightly different things, and those things were smudged starting in Algebra 1, so as a future educator that bathes in this content like Post Malone does with Bud Light, let me explain where all the confusion is coming from. PEMDAS, or known in Spiderland as BODMAS, is a way we can all universally agree on how to go about solving math expressions. But just like a university student home for Thanksgiving, even though we can all agree that the rolls are delicious, we're going to have varying opinions on how racist Uncle Ron is, okay? PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. That's the reason we consider 2 plus 3 times 4 to be 14 and not 24, okay? Multiply comes first in PEMDAS, and so you multiply 3 times 4, and that's 12. Then you have 2 plus 12, and then you add at the end, giving you 14 rather than going from left to right. Now, Trent, why couldn't we just evaluate left to right, just like how we breed? Well, good question, nerd. Let me answer it. Now, you wouldn't think it, but this is actually really important because mathematicians exploit the fact that certain arithmetic operations are commutative and associative in order to prove other fundamental truths in mathematics. Now, Trent, what in God's name did you just say? That's another good question from the audience. So you know how 1 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 1, and you know how 1 plus 2 plus 3 is the same as 1 plus 2 plus 3? And that's because it's all the same operation, and adding real numbers has traits where we're allowed to do this. So yay, hooray. Now, from left to right, is 2 plus 2 times 3 the same as 2 times 3 plus 2? No, you broke math. Why? Those properties don't apply when you're mixing operations. So to make it easier, we said, let's do some things first and other things second. If you want a deeper understanding of this, just Google commutativity and associativity and you'll have a ball. But here's the gist. You don't want to eat the cake before you bake it. You don't want to bury the dog before it dies. And you don't want to break up with a girl before you get your super cool, one-of-a-kind, sentimental, perfect fit banana costume filled with memories back from her because she wanted to use it for one freaking picture. So that's why we use PEMDAS. So why is everyone fighting each other over it? Well, look at this word. Say it out loud right now. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay, so did you say read or did you say read? If you said read, you probably don't read much anymore, which is fine. That's, it's fine. Did you say read? Because if you did, you're probably a total dweeb. You probably own John Green's Turtles all the way down, and you probably wouldn't give back a banana costume that isn't yours, even when the owner asked for it nicely on 5 separate occasions. The point is, even when rules are defined, people have different interpretations of them, okay? Look at this dumb expression with dumb math that I found on a dumb website. Okay, so let's use PEMDAS to solve it. 6 divided by 2, parentheses, 1 plus 2. Does it have parentheses? Yes, it does. 1 plus 2 is 3, so now we have 6 divided by 2 times 3. Any exponents? Nope. Multiplication? Yep. 2 times 3 is 6. Now we do division from left to right. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So hey, we're done. The answer is 1. Simple? Apparently not. That was method 1, and in my undergraduate mathematics student opinion, the wrong way to do it. So let me show you the way I learned it in middle school. Don't think about it like this. Think about it like this. PEMDAS from left to right, grouping the multiplication and division together, and addition and subtraction together. And you may be thinking, why? Well, there's this idea that's introduced in secondary math and clarified in post-secondary math that there's really no such thing as division and subtraction, but rather multiplication by reciprocal and adding a negative number respectively. And don't do that. Just listen. Just hang on with me here just a second. All that means is 1 minus 1 is the same as 1 plus negative 1, and that 2 divided by 2 is just the same as 2 times 1/2. But Trent, that's convoluted and stupid and complicated and, well, yes, but actually no. It is absolutely true that 1 minus 1 is much easier and quicker to write and understand than 1 plus negative 1, and the same applies to the latter example, but In formal proofs of the foundations of arithmetic, it's so much simpler to define subtraction and division in terms of addition and multiplication, respectively. So it's easier on that front. Most people don't need to understand formal proofs of the foundations of arithmetic, so we as a society have agreed, hey, there are two new operations, sort of, and their names are division and subtraction. So what's the problem? Well, we simplified things, and then we added a rule, PEMDAS, that has to do with more complicated things that go beyond the original simplification that was made. This is just like if you simplify a car by making it an automatic. People that have driven automatics all their life have a steep learning curve if they ever drive a stick shift. And similar to PEMDAS, people fight about how everyone should learn how to drive a manual. As a more general point, if you make an abstraction away from something, you may lose some important details of how that original something behaves. A 4-bedroom, 2-bath house on Zillow for $500 a month may seem like an outrageously good deal until you figure out your next-door neighbor is Sarah Palin. So this one crucial fact of grouping these operations together is often omitted or even forgotten. So when this pops up on a Twitter feed, violence inevitably ensues. So looking back at this headache, let's use PEMDAS. So, first, parentheses. 1 plus 2. Okay, that's 3 again. Any exponents? Still no. Now let's do multiplication and division from left to right. So we have 6 divided by 2, which is 3, times 3, which is 9. Right? But wait, there's more. So look at this stinky symbol right here. Just look how stinky it is. Look how dumb, stupid, and ugly that symbol is. Assuming you've already moved past middle school, when's the last time you've seen this symbol aside from Ginger Jesus' third studio album? Huh? That's right. Not since middle school. Why? In secondary math and even science, we stop using the division symbol as we've originally been using it our entire silly, ignorant life, and instead represent everything as fractional division. I'm actually not entirely sure why. My intuition tells me that it's much easier to deal with from a readability standpoint, but don't quote me on that. So why is this important? You evaluate the numerator and the denominator first, and then you divide at the very end. Okay, hold your hand up with one finger extended, just like this, okay? Put a finger down if a teacher never told you to put invisible parentheses on the numerator and the denominator. Now, you can use this fist that you've made to punch them right in the kidneys. Since this is the only type of division many have seen since middle school, whenever these problems pop up on social media, they apply the same logic and split this problem into a fraction, and that's where the biggest disconnect occurs. So for the sake of argument, let's do that. So 6 over 2 times, in parentheses, 1 plus 2, which is equal to 1, because you do the parentheses first, 1 plus 2, that is 3. And then you essentially have 2 over 2 times 3, which is 6 over 6, again, equal to 1. So is that right? In my amateur opinion, no. I think you can take a fraction and expand it out to one line and be sure to add those invisible parentheses, but I don't believe you can take a line and then move it into a fraction, because that's adding parentheses where there originally were no parentheses. But you are allowed to disagree with me, and here's why. These problems bank off the fact that the division sign disappears after middle school, and you will never see one of these only geniuses can get this right PEMDAS problems without a primary school division sign, okay? And I won't ever get mad at someone that learned math a certain way and is trying to defend it online, but I will get mad at the original post for 2 reasons, okay? One, this can be in its entirely own video, but using math as a way to measure intelligence for individuals is so toxic, and I absolutely hate it. Number 2, using only geniuses can get this right and then posting a question with no definite right answer is goofy as all get out, okay? Is it about the problem itself and having fun with math and getting to explore that with other people? Or is it about getting comments with people arguing so that the social media algorithm will make that post more popular? People confident in their math skills trying to engage with others, and then they get shut down because they're quote-unquote stupid, okay? Because they can't do math, or they think they can't do math because everybody disagrees on how to do the math itself. It further perpetuates the idea that proficiency in math is so far out of reach for people. So let me ask you, Do you find it disgusting that people are setting people against each other just to boost their numbers? Just to boost followers? It's kind of goofy. So now that you have this information, instead of fighting with other people online about a math problem, fight about important things like politics or which minion meme is superior. Bye.